All right. You also are a trick inventor. How do you decide amongst all the ideas in your head what are the ones that you want to develop? What are the telltale signs?
The original way I came up with the products was always for myself or for somebody I knew, a friend that needed a product, and he said, there's a need for this. I need this. I need this. So in the beginning, it was always for something, and it still happens to this day. Like for instance, my Rose to Silk gimmick, I made it for John Malkovich for a film I was consulting on because we were using the old-fashioned gimmicks with the wires.
Okay.
And we're rehearsing before shooting, like a week before. And he went and he got caught up with his jacket on the wire, and it was kind of embarrassing for him. And I can't let that happen again. And I blamed it on the prop. And I said, Mr. Malkovich, don't worry, I'm going to make something better for you. And I would not have that prop back on him again because he was got all jammed up on his sleeve. So I had to think about something. So that was out of necessity. So I made it. I said, oh my God, with the thread, with the elastics, and it worked perfectly. So out of necessity, most of my products, the good ones, it's interesting, the really sellable ones, the ones that sell well, are always the ones that were done out of a necessity. Yeah, it's like, it's like the mother of invention. It's a necessity, the mother of invention. So those are the best sellers. It's odd. And I have some other products that I made that I thought were cute and are good, and they sell, but not as well as the ones that are like my invisible dove harness, for instance. I did it out of necessity when I made it because I was not happy with the other ones that were out there. They were dangerous for the bird. I would not put my bird in it, and I made my own. And that's probably the best seller I have.
Huh.
Match gimmicks, same thing. I kept tired of buying match gimmicks that didn't work and constantly hard to fill the paper, and it didn't work, so I made my own. It's a huge seller, constantly selling those. And then, I have like the card rise that works pretty good. And, I have all my stuff. But it's very interesting. The ones I really needed sell the best, and the ones I make, it's weird. I have 4 or 5 on the table, and it depends on if it works. And I just go by feeling if it works. I have some that I just don't sell. I have a trick I call Silk Milk. I was making it. It's kind of cool, but it just wasn't there, so I just put it on the shelf.
Well,
go back to it, maybe.
I'll tell you what, it's got to be nice to have your brainstorming sessions where you also draw a check for consulting. It seems like a pretty cool position to be in, right?
That's a bonus sometimes. Yeah, you come up with an idea for somebody else, and you could use it. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
It's true.
That is fantastic. All right, and here's a question that we've asked. We've asked literally everybody who's come on the iTricks interview, and this will be our final one tonight. How did you decide to go pro, and when did you decide to do it? And to explain the question even further, that decision being the one where you decide you're going to pay your bills, from your art. Your creativity is going to be the reason why you live.
Well, I started magic when I was 6 years old, and by the time I was, I think, 13 or 14, I knew that I wanted to do magic for a living. At the time, I was doing kids' parties. I was doing tons of parties back in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And living at home, doing anywhere from 2 to 6 shows a week. I was doing very well for a kid being driven around by his dad. And after high school, either it was going to go to college or just go into the college of life and go into show business. So I entered a contest in '88 for an SAM contest. I won first place, and I knew that was the boost I needed just to get a little recognition. When I wanted to move to California. I got booked at the Magic Castle. I was blown away. Came back to Connecticut, my hometown, like, wow, this is boring. I can't live here anymore. Yeah. So I immediately made the decision with my mentor, Bill Andrews, which was helping me at the time, which was tremendous help to me. We talked about it, and I made the decision. That was it. I'm going to move to California and be a professional magician.
And that I guess is, did you think that some kind of big physical, if even just a demonstration to life that like, I'm throwing my hat over the wall, this is something that I'm going to do. It would be moving to California for you, and I'm sure it's a bunch of other steps for a lot of other people, but it almost seems like that's a necessary part of showing you that you're serious about this.
Well, I think you have to tell yourself you're serious. It's Napoleon Hill talks about this, is that if you burn the bridge behind you, you can't retreat. Yeah. You have to go forward. It's extreme. Not everybody could do that. It's very scary. I came out to LA. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know one person. I found a small studio apartment on the corner of Franklin and La Brea, right next to the Magic Castle. Very crime-ridden area, but that's what I could afford at the time. It was scary, but in my mind and my heart, I knew how to do it. And sometimes you just got to jump. You know, not everybody could do it, but if you really believe in yourself and you know you could pull through when you have to, you do it. You just jump in, man. You go in, and I did it. I put it. My family's, I had nobody out here, nobody at all. And just go for it.
It is a very, very wise and inspiring story from our guest on the iTricks interview, Tony Clark. Tony,
Thank you.
thank you very, very much for spending the time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.